I was like, go Birds.
Oh, yeah.
By the time I left the resort, every staff member knew go Birds.
By the way,
yeah, did I tell you the story? I did tell you, right? When I got out of the
you told me, yes.
Yeah, we get B-Gun, I don't know if I told you. So we get to the resort, get out of the limo that picks you up at the airport and gives you the transfer to your resort. So, and they do that for everybody. It's not like I'm, if you stay 3 nights, you get the free limo.
Right. You didn't shell out extra cash.
Exactly. So, because Cheapy was not doing that if it wasn't. And so I opened the limo door. It's like a limo SUV.
You didn't specifically ask for Jeeves to come pick you up.
So I open up the limo door out of my side of the car. I'm on the passenger side. And this other limo's pulling up, and it almost hits the door. And I'm like, man, dude, almost hit me. I get out of the car. There's Big Fred Johnson.
Yeah.
Of the
bodyguard right there. And he could be a lot richer by the end of the week.
I hope Fred gets a nice gig. I literally get out of the thing and I go Birds. He go Birds and recognized me, a little facial recognition, said, how you doing?
Yeah,
good.
But he was probably like, damn it, I said, Eagles fans.
I said, congratulations. I said, congratulations, champ. And so he was one building over from us. But real good dude and by the way, a excellent tipper. So if you already didn't like Fred Johnson, I can just tell you a few of the bartenders said, man's a good tipper.
He seems like a great dude.
He's
all
great
the
dude.
Players talk about him. He's the chattiest one in the group.
He had a smile on his face a mile wide.
That's
great
awesome.
stuff.
Now, somebody that might not be smiling as we transition, Dallas Goedert. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know where Dallas Goedert wants to be. But last week, Jeff McClain said on his podcast that he does not believe that Dallas Goedert would return. He was speaking to an agent. Was this back at the Super Bowl or was it at the Combine? All right, it was at the Combine. So Jeff McClain spoke to an agent, not Dallas Goedert's agent. At least we don't know. He spoke to an agent that said Dallas Goedert was not going to play another game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was like, oh, man, it's kind of disappointing. And then yesterday there was reports that he could be going for a 4th-round pick, and it almost seems like it's going to happen. Josina Anderson reported yesterday, league sources telling her that the Eagles are holding out hope for at least a 4th-round pick for Dallas Goedert in a potential trade, even if the pick was from later years, like 26 or 27. However, a lower pick and more of a salary adjustment is needed for some teams to continue conversations. So by the reading of that tweet, it's almost like, yeah, it's going to happen. It just depends on the compensation at this point. And I'll be honest, man, that disappoints me.
I was hoping Connor would be here today, but I knew he was still one more day down in Florida. He argued this with me on the air. I said I thought that they were going to move on from Dallas Goedert.
I know that you did.
And I believe that, honestly, it's the smart move. I think it's the smart move.
I'm disappointed by it,
Look, there's too much unreliability physically, and he's going to make a ton of money. Like, you got to, I don't understand where he's not how about this? He's not the long-term answer, correct?
No, he's not. He's got a year left on his deal.
You were not going to give him a new contract, right?
The only thing I would have done was added a second year on what he has left, and it's one of those you can get out after next season. I mean, I would have loved to have had him for one more year.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, his cap hit this year is $12 million. You're out of your mind. You can't have it. You can't have him at $12 million.
I know that health is a major concern, but man, this guy is
he's hurt multiple times every year. You can't have a $12 million cap hit.
Spectacular in the playoffs again.
Yeah, but you can't have a $12 million cap hit.
All right, we'll talk about this more coming up next. Also, we'll give you doing. Does that just instill more confidence in you with the Philadelphia Eagles that they just do everything what seems to be right? Because there were moves. We'll go through the NFL free agency tracker here momentarily. But before we do that, let's expand a little bit more on the Dallas Goedert thing. I would be borderline devastated to see him go because of the way this offense runs, right? Running the football, and he is a tremendous blocking tight end.
Did you just use the word devastated?
I would be close to devastated.
Okay.
I believe is what I said.
All right.
Or what borderline. Sorry, borderline devastated.
Okay. I'm a little shocked, but I get you. Tell about why again. Why would it move you that much if Dallas Goedert?
Because of how this offense operates, the way that they run the football and his exceptional ability to block, but also they do so many things underneath, and he's a big part of that. That play where we saw him, you believe it saved the season against the New Orleans Saints.
It was the play to me that was the difference between 1-3 and 2-2.
Yeah, and that play is there a lot. And it took some time for Hurts, I believe, this year to really start focusing in on Dallas Goedert. But once he did, all of a sudden his season kind of flipped around, and you really saw it happen, how important he was come playoff time. The Super Bowl was his least productive game because he didn't need to be, right? Because they were just beating up the Chiefs so early and so often. But I would be borderline devastated to see him go. Now, I understand I'm not going to pay him some lucrative deal, and he might be looking for one. But if you could find a way to extend him by one more year and next year be the potential out, obviously he's probably looking for some sort of insurance policy, which is why maybe they're not seeing eye to eye. But when I read the tweet from Josina Anderson yesterday that I read last segment for you all, it seems like it's happening.
A $12 million cap hit is absolutely unacceptable for what Dallas Goedert gives you. As far as he's too fragile, and I mean I'm sorry to say it, but
I understand that
he's too fragile. He gets hurt multiple times. We've had now in the last 3 years. Just go last 3 years. He's missed 5 different gaps of time.
Yeah, he played 10 games last year, 14 the year before that, 12 the year before that, 15 games back in 2021.
Now, back then, yeah, it's still different. Can't have it. And I'm sorry because I really like Dallas Goedert a lot.
No, me too.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
No. Nope. No,
I just thought he was really important to you in the playoffs, too, man.
I'm sorry to see it go. I swear. I'm sorry to see it go. But gotta go at that number. And I believe he wants a long-term deal. So getting a 1-year extension is not going to do it for him.
My question is, who's given the long-term deal to everything that you just mentioned?
Well, I don't think he's getting
potential injury-prone tight end at 30 years old.
Then the thing is, too, and I hate that, too. I feel bad for him about injury-prone, but he is injury-prone.
Right.
I don't think he's a malingerer. I don't think he's a guy who doesn't want to play.
No,
I don't think he's not. I don't think he's not tough. I just want a reliable, and I believe you can find tight ends. And by the way, this draft, I think Andrew DeCecco will tell us you can find tight ends.
Well, yesterday when Gunnar sent us the text, the tweet, I said that just kind of screams that they're drafting somebody at this point. Like, if they're going to move on from Dallas Goedert, with all due respect to Grant Calcaterra, they're not going to go into the season with Calcaterra as like their main option. It's probably going to be a draft selection at some point. So that's another question that we would love to hear from you. It's 610-632-0975. The decision to potentially move on from Dallas Goedert for a 4th-round draft pick, I would hate to see it.
And I appreciate everything he's about.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Dallas Goedert's been a fantastic player here. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that it's the smart thing. A $12 million cap hit, ridiculous.
All right. So some of the moves around the NFL, which goes back to our main topic of, does this instill more confidence in you that the Eagles are just doing everything right? March 7th, the big one, there was a couple of moves that happened, but the big one was Geno Smith being traded to the Raiders. I think this was a home run for Seattle. You move on from Geno Smith, who's apparently going to get paid $40 to $45 million.
Which you weren't going to do.
No.
They weren't going to do.
I don't think anybody should, but the Raiders are probably going to do it. And you got a 3rd-round pick in return, and now that opens up the door for, the Sam Darnolds of the world, or you start thinking about the draft. But here's the deal. I mean, they won enough games where they're not in that top 10, and it's not like people are screaming that the quarterbacks are great in this draft class. So they're going to acquire some veteran, it seems like. But here's the deal. You also cut Tyler Lockett, and you traded away DK Metcalf. So you're bringing in who? Sam Darnold to play with Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I'm going to tell you right now, whoever pays the big money contract to Sam Darnold is going to wish they did.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll go on the record.
I agree with you.
I don't believe I do believe he's a good quarterback, but I believe he's going to have a career like Geno Smith as a starter if he goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Not 9-8, 10-7.
Yeah, you're gonna win games.
You're gonna win games. But you're not going to win when you need to win.
Like last week, when the move happened, Ian Rappaport tweeted out major shakeup.
What?
And I quote tweeted saying Geno Smith is a major shakeup, and some guy responded to me, "Well, he's better than what they had last year." I go,
"Well, what does that mean?"
That doesn't mean much. Like, they won 4 games last year. So they're probably going to win 7 or 8. What does that win you anything? No, you might be in the hunt in the last couple of weeks of the regular season.
What, a wild card?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Is the goal to win, to build something to win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
And if the goal is to do that, you're not doing that with Geno Smith. I don't believe you're doing that.
And that's why I celebrate what the Eagles are doing. Zach Ertz re-signs with the Commanders.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, because the way he talked, it almost seemed like he was on his way out.
Or like he felt that they weren't going to offer him something. I think that's a move that I went, damn.
Right.
Because I didn't want to see him there. So
on
good.
Saturday, the big news with Myles Garrett obviously extending the contract with the Browns after he said he wanted to go to a winning situation. That was funny. But Davante Adams gets a 2-year deal with the Rams.
What is Davante Adams? 33?
He's up there, man. When I saw 2 years, I said, all right, the agent was able to work in an extra year. He's 32. He'll turn 33 in December.
Okay, so he turns 33 this year. Okay, so I was right on that one. I don't hate it, but I'm not scared of it.
No.
Let's put it that way.
I mean, he's on the tail end.
I mean, he's still a talented guy, but he's not an impact guy anymore.
Right. Harold Landry, a guy that we had eyes on. Remember, the day after the Myles Garrett situation starts, where he says he wants out to go to a winning organization, the next day, Adam Schefter reported that the Titans were going to move on with Harold Landry. And we were saying, wait, that's a Howie move. The big name is Myles Garrett.
Correct.
But here's the sneaky, talented, less expensive player. He ends up rejoining Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots. So take that name off the list. He's an outside linebacker. So remember, the Eagles do still need an edge rusher on this team. So we'll see what ends up happening once legal tampering begins at noon. We've obviously already talked about the DK Metcalf trade. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he will be getting footballs thrown to him by me, John.
Really? Yeah.
Who's the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.